in Out of the Wilderness, the second book in the Wildernes trilogy. I introduce some new characters, among them Tucker and Cole, as they call one another. And I'm going to read to you, not from the very first words of the book, but in the first chapter, as Tucker and Culpepper view for the first time in their lives the game of shinny, played tournament style between tribes all up and down the west coast of the Oregon Territory. But look at the game down there, Culpepper pointed. By now, both of them could see the young men were hitting and kicking a small ball back and forth. Just then, one of the boys caught the ball in the net on the end of his stick. He threw it above the melee toward the goalpost, but as the pellet flew over the heads of the last of the crowd, a young man leaped high in the air, reaching above his head with his stick. The two were amazed to see that he caught the ball in the little net on his stick at the very top of his reach. He then whipped the stick down in a 360-degree arc, bringing it back up and throwing it in the opposite direction before he hit the ground. At this, the entire crowd turned and ran in the opposite direction. And, what was more, the spectators on both sides of the field picked themselves up and ran after them. In less than a minute, the entire crowd had disappeared beyond the trees below them and to the south. "Wow, Tucker, that was something to see. I wish we was closer so we could see better." "Yeah, Cole, that was something. But I've grown too fond of my scalp to go down there in that mess. We'll have to figure out some better way to get to that ship." Culpepper ducked his head as a spasm of fear passed through him. "Do you suppose some of them Indians could see us if they looked up this way?" At that moment, Tucker also shivered with a premonition of danger, but it was too late. They heard the distinctive sound of a rifle being cocked just as Indians on both sides of them leaped out on the rock, pressing metal-pointed spearheads into both men's necks. There was nothing they could do. Almost at the same time, they heard Tucker's mastiff set up a great growling howl, and they knew their furs had been discovered as well.